Hey, what's up everyone? Adam here with brahwegotthis, and welcome to my Magicka Necromancer DPS build for Blackwood. In this build, we are going to be able to do a ton of AoE damage over time, and we will be able to manage our resources quite well. Another thing that this build is going to be able to do is you're going to be able to help your teammates out a lot with a set that you're using. You're going to be able to augment their damage. You're going to be able to increase the group's overall DPS with some things that we are running in this build, which I absolutely love. This build will have a beginner setup as well, along with its final form. We will go through stats, skills, passives, armor, CP, and the rotation. The best part about this is I have tried to simplify the rotation for you so you can have an easier time picking this build up in ESO. Magicka Necromancer is definitely a tricky role to play, but I want to make this as straightforward as I can. First off, I want to give a shout out to all my patrons. Thank you so much for all the support. If you'd like to become a patron and get early access to videos, check out the description below and you can see all of that there. Also, if you ever want to watch me come play live or ask questions or anything or get help in the community, you can join our Discord and you can come by my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/brahwegotthis. All the details are in the description below, as well as our new revamped website, which has beginner content and builds on there. So check all that out in the description. Okay, so again, I want to start out by saying that this build is designed for the mid-tier or mid-game player in mind, which means that if you are very good at this game and you have your weaving and your rotations down, you should be able to push this build even further than myself. If you're a middle-of-the-road player, you should be able to get the same results as me, and if you're a new player, this is a build that can be obtainable and easy to work towards. Again, my builds are designed to clear most content in the game and to, most importantly, have fun doing it. Remember, there will be timestamps below if you are interested in skipping, but if you do, you will miss important information about the build and how it is designed to work. Let's first go into everything that we normally go into. The race that we are playing is the Breton. It gives us such a good boost for Magicka. I love playing the Breton as a Magicka DPS. And our stats are 64 points into Magicka. We're running at about 37 to 39k max health, depending on the buffs. We're running at 25.084k max health and 17.9k max stamina. Without any buffs, we are at 61.5% spell critical, which is pretty solid. And we are at 2335 spell damage and 6882 spell penetration. Now, our mundus stone is the thief. We're getting that spell critical rating up. We are also using the longfin pasty with melon sauce food. This is something that I really enjoy using. Okay, so now we're going to go into the skills and the passives. So we're on the back bar first. We're running Wall of Elements as the first skill. This is just a great DPS from Magicka's skill. You can get this in Destruction Staff line. It is very simple to use. You just place it. It goes every 10 seconds. And we're using an Inferno Staff, which I will show you here in a little bit. But it's just an absolutely great skill, and we need this for the build. The next skill is Necrotic Potency, and this can be switched out for something that you want if you don't want to use this. This is something I just love using on Necromancers, and what this is this is in the Bone Tyrant line, and this will actually give you 6 ultimate and heal you for 1070 health every 1 second for 2 seconds per additional corpse. So every corpse you do that with, it will give you the ultimate and the health back. It scales off your max health, which we are at 25k health. And when it's slotted, your damage is taken is reduced by 3%. That's nice, but that's not really why we're running it. We're just running it for the most part because it can give us ultimate back. If there's a lot of corpses and you used an ultimate beforehand, you can actually just, use this skill and it will give you some nice ultimate back. And I just really like it. This can, though, however, be switched out with something else that you choose. But again, this is just a nice skill to have. We're using Inner Light on this bar as well. This is not something that you will use. This is in the Mage's Guild line. You just morph it to Inner Light. This is just going to give us a flat max Magicka increase by 5%, and it's going to give us Major Prophecy, increasing our spell critical rating by 2629 at all times. So it's just a really nice skill to have on your bar. Next skill is Skeletal Arcanist. Skeletal Arcanist is in the Grave Lord line. Skeletal Arcanist is basically just going to summon a pet for you. You do not have to have this slotted on double bars, which is nice, but it's going to deal 2728 shock damage to enemies and all other enemies nearby. And it's also going to create a corpse, which is nice. The last skill in this bar is Avid Boneyard. Avid Boneyard is just a fantastic skill for the Necromancer. This is, again, an AoE and a damage over time. It's going to deal 13,640 frost damage over 10 seconds. Consumes a corpse on cast to deal 50% more damage. So if you use this and it consumes a corpse, it will do 50% more damage. And then any ally and yourself can stand and activate the Grave Robber synergy, dealing 10,517 frost damage to enemies in the area and healing for the damage done. The fact that you can use your own synergy is awesome. I love that with this skill, and it's just a great damage over time. And with Necromancers, you're going to be doing a lot of damage over time. They are just AoE damage over time kings in this game. So that is what we're going to be doing with this build. The ultimate here can be switched out if you like. I just like using the Destruction Staff ultimate. It's just a really, really nice one. I don't use this one as much though. I use the one on the front bar more just because I like it more. But this is just the ultimate from the Destruction Staff line. Now, let's switch over to the front bar. Front bar, we are running Degeneration. Degeneration is a skill from the Mage's Guild. This is going to deal 17,185 magic damage over 12 seconds. Okay, and then excess magic spills out from them, granting you major sorcery, increasing your spell damage by 20% for 24 seconds, which is really nice. So you're just going to get that 24-second buff for spell damage, which I absolutely love. Next skill, and another reason why we're running this is I'll show you when we get to the passives here, but it's a really nice skill while we're using it, and you'll see why. We're running Stalking Blastbones, which is in the Gravelord line. This is a huge damage skill for us, and this is going to summon a Blastbones that basically runs to the target and explodes. It deals 11,785 flame damage to all nearby enemies. Every second the skeleton spins, chasing its target increases the damage of the explosion by 10% up to a maximum of 50% more damage. So the farther they are, this can do even more damage. It's kind of insane. And most importantly, this is going to create a corpse on death. Next skill is Inner Light. Okay, again, this is just going to be double barred because it's going to give us max Magicka and major prophecy on both bars. Now, again, you can switch it on. You can switch this one out if you'd like, but I just like having it on both bars. Again, this is made to be simplified. Okay, our main spammable, the one we're going to be using the most, and really what is going to push this build to be where it's at, is Force Pulse. Force Pulse is the Destruction Staff first skill you get. You can morph this if you would like to Crushing Shock. I believe that's what it's called. That interrupts targets. That's more just something if that's your preference. But what this is going to do, and you'll see why this is important, is this is going to blast an enemy for 2/4/4/2 flame, shock, and frost damage. And up to 2 nearby enemies will take 7,856 magic damage if they're already afflicted with burning, chilled, or concussed status effects. And so I love this skill. It's just so easy to use. But again, this is going to be a key role for our build. And the last skill is Mystic Siphon. Mystic Siphon is from the Gravelord line. This is the last skill you get. And what this does is this will drain life from the corpse, dealing 17,760 shock damage over 12 seconds to all enemies around the corpse and between you and the corpse. The portion of the ability scales off your highest offensive stat. You also restore 12,955 Magicka over 12 seconds while siphoning the corpse, which is really nice. And while slotted, your damage done is increased by 3%, which is, again, very, very nice. And the one you're going to use the most is Glacial Colossus. This is going to be an amazing ultimate. I love it. It's going to smash the ground over 3 times over 3 seconds, dealing 9,198 frost damage with each smash. Final smash stuns all enemies hit for 4 seconds, and dealing damage applies major vulnerability to any enemy hit for 12 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 10%. This is an absolutely amazing skill that I just love for this build, and this build is designed to also help your teammates out, and you'll see that when we get to the item sets. But you're going to be able to do a lot of damage, and you're going to be able to help your teammates do more damage with this and with other things that we're running in this build. Okay, so now let's go into the passives, and there's a few passives that I really want to highlight that are going to be important for this build, and you'll see why. But pretty self-explanatory. The Gravelord passives are absolutely fantastic. Reusable parts, this is going to be amazing. Death Knell, this is going to be amazing. And Dismember's also going to be nice as well. And Rapid Rot, this is going to increase our damage over time effects by 15%. I mean, all these passives are just fantastic. Gravelord, you can get every single passive in here as well, because again, we're going to have Necrotic Potency as well. And this is just something that's really nice. I'd prioritize getting the Grave Lord passives first, and then you can go for Bone Tyrant as well. Now for Living Death, you don't necessarily have to get all of these passives if you do not want. I do like Corpse Consumption. I do like Undead Confederate, obviously. Curative Curse and Near-Death Experience is something that is up to you. Something I do want to mention too, a replacement for Degeneration if you want, if you're struggling to stay alive in a fight, if you're doing solo play, is you can use Hungry Scythe. Hungry Scythe is something that will heal you, which is nice, and it does like a conal attack. And so it's just a really nice ability if you want to switch that with Degeneration. Now for the Destruction Staff passives, you can get every single passive here. It's just really nice. For armor, you can go light armor passives. We do not need medium or heavy armor. Really, you can though. We are running 5-1-1, but you can run 7 light. It's really just up to you, but all light armor for sure. Fighters Guild, you can get Banish the Wicked. For Mages Guild, now this is something that I really want to highlight for this build because again, there are some important passives here. So Mage Adept is something that you definitely want because it's going to reduce your Magicka and health costs of your Mage's Guild abilities by 15%, and we have a Mage's Guild ability here. Everlasting Magic increases the duration of your Mage's Guild abilities by 20%, which is also really nice. Magicka Controller is nice as well because it increases your max Magicka and Magic recovery by 2% for each Mage's Guild ability slot. We're going to be at 4% when we're on the front bar. This is the one that I really love. Might of the Guild. Casting a Mage's Guild ability grants you Empower, increasing the damage of your light and heavy attacks by 40% for 3 seconds. So I like this because it's going to give you a boost to your light and heavy attacks when you cast Degeneration. I love this one. Racial passives. Breton. Again, we're using Breton. This is just a great line. This is going to increase your max Magicka by 2,000. You're going to increase your spell resistance, and you're also going to have increased magic recovery, and you're going to reduce the Magicka cost of your abilities by 7%, which is just absolutely amazing. Okay, let's now go into the item sets. This is where it gets fun. I love exploring the item sets in this game. I just absolutely love it, and I've always wanted to use one of these sets, and they buffed it, and I'm so happy that they buffed it from the last patch because it was nerfed last patch, and I'm just so happy that I get to actually use this and go for this. But first thing we're using is Valken Scoria. Again, I'm using medium shoulders, heavy helmet. You can use light if you want. Valken Scoria is from City of Ash 2 Vet Dungeon. This is going to be Divines on both. And what this does is going to add 1487 spell penetration. And when you deal damage with the damage over time effect, which we're going to do basically all the time, you have an 8% chance to summon a meteor that deals 4-2-3 flame damage to the target and 13-17 flame damage to all their enemies within 5 meters. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds and scales off your higher of your weapon or spell damage. So this is just a nice monster set for this build. I love it. We're always doing damage over time effects with this build. Next item set is Mother's Sorrow. Okay, Mother's Sorrow is going to add max Magicka and a load of spell critical. This item set is just fantastic. It's not hard to use. It's just something though that is going to boost your spell critical a ton, and I just love it to be able to augment it on all my builds. You can get this by farming it in Deshawn in the Overland. It's a base game set, and same with Valken Scoria. And just a reminder, this build right now I'm showing you with this item loadout. This is the final form, and I'll go into a beginner setup that is actually full base game that you can use as well. You don't have to have any DLCs or expansions or anything like that. But Mother Sorrow on the chest, belt, legs, pants, and gloves, all divines and max Magicka enchants. For the other set, we are running Catalyst, Elemental Catalyst. This is from the Stone Garden DLC dungeon. Okay, you can farm this on normal. You do not have to do it on vet. You do not need gold jewelry. Okay, for the jewelry, you can use Bloodthirsty if you would like to, but I just run max Magicka. But Bloodthirsty will help as well. And I'm also running Magicka Recovery enchants. But what this set does is it adds max Magicka spell critical. Whenever you deal flame, shock, or frost damage, you apply a stack of flame, shock, or frost weakness to the enemy for 3 seconds. Each stack of an elemental weakness increases their critical damage taken by 5%. An enemy can only have 1 stack of each elemental weakness at a time. The reason that this is so nice is this combos with our Force Pulse, okay? We're doing flame, shock, and frost damage all at once in one ability, okay? But if you don't have this up, we have shock damage with Mystic Siphon. We have frost damage with our Colossus. We have flame damage with Stalking Blast Bones. And on the back bar, we have flame damage with the staff. We have shock damage with the mage. And we have frost damage with the Boneyard. But that's never really going to happen. You're almost always going to have this up on the boss. It's just absolutely fantastic because this is going to do all of that in one click of a button. So what that means is you're going to increase the critical damage taken to the enemy that you're hitting with that by 15% because you're going to have one of each stack, okay? So that's not just going to help you, that's going to help your teammates. So that means your teammates, if you have this up, what that means is that enemy is going to take increased critical damage by 15% from anyone in the group. So that is what I was talking about, how this is going to help your actual teammates as well. You also stack that on top of the Colossus, and you're just helping you and your teammates so much with this. I love this set, and I always have wanted to make a build with this set, but it just was, I think it was 3% before, and they buffed it back up to 5%. So I'm glad that they buffed it because I really just, I've been missing this. I love this ability, and I've always wanted to make a build for this. So that is your other 5-piece set. Now on the back bar with our, Wall of Elements, we're running the Maelstrom Inferno Staff. This is just going to increase your light and heavy attack damage in your Wall of Elements. So this again is farmable in Maelstrom Arena. You don't have to do it on Veteran. You can do it on Normal. But this is the final form of the build here. Let me just tell you the alternates that you can use if you are trying to get the gear for this. Again, keep Mother Sorrow. Mother Sorrow is base game farmable. It's very easy to farm. And we're using the body pieces, so you don't have to even farm the staves or anything like that. Okay, Valken Scoria is also base game, so keep Valken Scoria. But if you don't have Valken Scoria yet, you could use Grothdar if you would like to, which is in Vaults of Madness. But Mother Sorrow, Valken Scoria, or Grothdar for the monster sets. For the other 5-piece item, if you do not have the Stonethorn DLC, something that you can use is the Overwhelming Surge set. Okay, I love this set because it is going to help you sustain as a beginner. So if you're struggling with sustain, it's going to help you sustain. And when you use a class, because when you use that class ability, you're going to be able to do shock damage, and 15% of the damage that is dealt that way is restored to you as Magicka. And this is just nice because we have a lot of class abilities that we're using, so it's going to proc a lot of the time. If you don't have the Maelstrom staff yet, you can again use either another Overwhelming staff, or you can use another Elemental Catalyst staff, or for the other one, you could use a Inferno Staff of Willpower, which is going to give you more max Magicka, which is really nice as well. And something to note as well is you don't have to have the combo of Catalyst on the weapons and jewelry and then Mother Sorrow here. You can switch it, but I just did this because it was just the way I did it. But if you find it to be where you have the Mother Sorrow jewelry and weapons first, then go for the body pieces of Catalyst. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be anything set in stone with that. But I will say that Overwhelming Surge set is farmable in the Tempest Island dungeon. Now let's go into the CP for us. So for this, it's pretty standard. It's nothing crazy. For the blue tree, I'm running just the minimum that I need for this. So there are more points I could put into this if you have max CP and all that stuff, and I'm just running minimum stuff. So we've got 20 into Eldritch Insight, 20 into Precision, 20 into Tyler's Discipline, 50 into Fighting Finesse, which is going to increase our critical damage, critical healing done by 2%. We're going to go full into Piercing, Flawless Ritual, and War Mage. I just have these because, again, I have a little bit extra. We have 50 into Deadly Aim, which is going to increase our damage done with single target attacks. We're going to have Thaumaturge, which increases the damage of your damage over time effects by 2%. 50 into Biting Aura increases the damage of the area effect attacks by 2%. So I've been liking Deadly Aim more, but you can run the Weapons Expert as well if you would like to. And then we got, again, all of these are slotted in here at the top four bar. And then for the red, we have 50 into Ironclad, 50 into Rejuvenation, 50 into Survival Instincts, and then 50 into Siphoning Spells. So all four of those are slotted here. You can run 50 into Mystic Tenacity. You can run 20 here into Heroes, 30 into Tumbling, 20 into Defiance. These, again, are just spent here if you have the extra CP points. Now for the green, that's really up to you. So you can put the points there wherever you would like to. Okay, so let's actually go into the rotation. I tried to figure out this rotation to make it as simple as I could, and so I will try to go into it slowly for you all so you guys can see what it looks like. So again, you're going to start out on your back bar. What you're going to do first is you're going to summon your mage. Okay, once you summon your mage, you're going to light attack, wall of elements, light attack, graveyard. So when you use your graveyard, you can use the synergy that is attached to it. So there it is. I use the synergy and it does, damage. But let's go over that again. So mage, light attack, wall of elements, light attack, graveyard, switch bars. Okay. Now you're obviously going to do that faster, but that is your first 3 abilities there. Okay. Once you get back on the front part of your bar, what you're going to do is you're going to go degeneration, light attack, blast bones, light attack, force, light attack, force, light attack, force, light attack, and then you're going to siphon, because then the body is going to be under the enemy and you're going to get that damage from siphon, but then you'll switch bars. What that means is by the time you get back to this back bar, you use wall, graveyard, and your actual mage is going to still be up. So what you can do is when you come back to that back bar after you use graveyard, you can actually weave a heavy attack in there to get resources back, and then use your mage and then switch bars. And then it's just rinse, repeat. Degeneration, light attack, blast bones, light attack, force, light attack, force, light attack, force, light attack, siphon. Switch bars, wall, graveyard, heavy attack, mage, and then switch back. That is the rotation. Now I'm going to speed it up here to show you what it looks like sped up, and I'll try to commentate over it as I go, but that is the rotation. Now you obviously use your ultimates when they are up. So, okay, so we're going to speed it up here. Mage, wall, graveyard, switch bars, degeneration, blast bones, force, synergy, siphon, wall, graveyard, heavy attack, mage, switch bars, degeneration, blast bones, force, siphon, wall, graveyard, heavy attack, synergy, mage, and that is the rotation right there. Now, if you come over here and we do some AoE fights, you'll see as well that this just absolutely destroys AoE targets. So we use mage, wall of elements, graveyard, generation, blast bones, force, siphon, wall, graveyard, heavy attack, mage, generation, blast bones, force. We'll do grave colossus, generation, blast bones, force, siphon, switch bars, graveyard, heavy attack, mage, generation, blast bones, force, siphon, and there you go. That is the rotation. So again, for me, Magicka Necromancer has always been a difficult build to use. I've tried to do rotations, and I've tried to use it, and it's just been something that I've really struggled with. And so I hope that this is something that you will find easy to use, especially as a beginner or a mid-game player. But I feel like this build is something that you'll have a lot of fun with. You'll be able to do a solid amount of damage with. And again, if you are a better player than me, you can push this even farther with your damage. And again, I'm using one of my favorite sets from the game, which is Elemental Catalyst. I've always wanted to use this set. Now, let's go over the fashion real quick. And so for this, what we're using is we're using True Sworn hat, shoulders, gloves, breeches, chest, belt, and shoes. These are all light armor. The dyes that we are using are Warrior Steel, which is the Hellrot Citadel achievement for just doing that trial, and Void Pitch, which is the Vaterstern Hollow vet dye. And so I really like that. The staff that we're using is the Ice Reach Coven staff. This is a really nice staff to use as well. I just really enjoy it. But that is the fashion. But I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Again, I hope that it helps you. I hope that you're able to just use this and have fun with this build, but also learn it very easily. If you have any questions, again, leave a comment below and I can get to it and I can try to answer it. You can also ask questions in my Twitch stream or in Discord. We have all the links below there. And if you like this, make sure to like, subscribe, heavy attack that bell icon to stay up to date on all the content in the channel. It is much appreciated, and I do appreciate all of you for being here. But again, just remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you on ESO.